Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to my kitchen. As you know, my name is Rishone, and we are doing this as a part of Musicality Central and Plated Soul combined. So, welcome to my kitchen. This is our Make a Dish with Rish cook along, and I am excited to make this dish with you or share this passion with you, which is cooking that I've been doing almost my entire life. And I just want to help you guys make some delicious meals in your own kitchen. So, I'm so excited to get started, but I'm gonna give everyone a couple more minutes to join the live so we can like relay some information that's super important for being in the kitchen as far as safety and as far as getting time management down so we can get everything done at the same time. All right, so continue to watch, but also check in to let us know. Susie's checking in with the chat and also working on all the audio and visual components to make sure everything runs smoothly. So if you are on, let us know. If you're there, say hi, say hello.
I'm working to try to make sure that the chat is functional. So give me a sec. If the chat's not working yet, I will get it up and running. Hashtag I love technology.
Yes. So Susie's working on the chat while she's working on the chat. Make sure you have your ingredients out, and I'll go through what that is in just a few minutes, as well as go through the entire process of what we're gonna make as far as the components of protein, vegetables, and starches. Okay. Those are the three things we're breaking down today's meal in. So make sure you have all your ingredients out ready to go so we can get started as soon as everyone joins and we are ready to get the food prepping. Okay. Um, so if you haven't checked out our Instagram on Musicality Central, we have classes on a weekly basis, starting with Tuesday afternoons from 6 o'clock. I teach hip hop for starters. Susie teaches intermediate hip hop at 7:15, which are both two awesome classes. And then on Wednesday we have our aerobics classes, which is all about moving and getting yourself an exercise while you're at home in quarantine like everyone else. And then on Thursday we have our beginner level class, which is called Choreo 101, which is one of our favorite classes because it introduces everyone to technique, foundation, and new movers. It teaches new movers how to get comfortable with hip hop. Mm-hmm. So I love our Thursday Courier 101 class because we've received so many awesome clients, and they're actually growing from that class. So we love going to that class and teaching that class, even through the virtual world. So also on Saturday, we do not have aerobics anymore, but on Thursday we are adding a new class, so look out for that. All right, we are also running a free win a free class giveaway challenge.
Every week it's a different challenge.
Yeah, so this past week, if you haven't noticed, we posted this morning of the winners of last week's challenge, which was do a move, give us your favorite move, either posting it in the story.
Yes,
and
Caitlin killed it. Caitlin
Yep.
killed that booty.
And then Joelle hit us with the pickups, with the taps. And then Jules was doing the body roll, right? So,
yes,
which is awesome, right?
So the chat is working now, which is
Okay.
awesome. It was just me, technology.
Okay.
So people are just saying, hi, Stephanie, happy birthday.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday, Stephanie.
Yes, Meg Sador's on. My mom is on. Melissa's on. Alyssa is washing her veggies. My mom wanted to know what's a vegetable. I think you meant to say what is the vegetable.
What is the vegetable?
Are you going to go over the
Okay, so
ingredients?
yeah, I'm going to go over the ingredients. Actually, we're going to just do that right now. So if you are non-vegetarian, I talked about this before, our ingredients that we're using as far as protein is poultry, aka chicken, aka boneless, skinless chicken breast, right? And you should already have that, right? Because I put out a whole list so everyone could be on the same page when we start up. And we are basically going to create a glaze. We're going to sear that up and create a glaze, a really citrus, sweet, balanced glaze for the chicken and everything, right? We're going to create a marriage for all the ingredients with that glaze, okay? Also, for non-vegetarian, we do have the mushrooms, the whole mushrooms. These are white mushrooms. I said snow mushrooms, but they are white mushrooms, right? Just small mini white mushrooms. All right. We're gonna also create a glaze for these. We're gonna create a sauce. So we're gonna season this and sear it up just like we do the chicken, and then create a glaze so it is delicious and it's as flavorful as if you're eating chicken. Okay. So also, our starch of the evening is mini red potatoes. And I've got this from Wegmans about a week ago, last Sunday actually, as I made the post late at night to show you guys what we were using as ingredients. So these are red potatoes that we're going to use, some mini ones. We're going to boil them and then sear and get a nice crust on them. So, and season them as well with some herbs and spices to make them, to create another marriage to the dish, especially flavorful marriages. Okay, so we have that, and the vegetable of the day, as Susie's mom asked, is asparagus. Right, I have some spears right here that we're going to use, and we are going to oven roast these to create a nutty flavor to them, but also add some additional seasoning that's again going to create a marriage to the entire dish. So the purpose of every meal that you create when you are creating flavor is to season each component, so when you can enjoy them individually, but also as a whole. Like if you were to take a piece of asparagus or a piece of potato and a slice of your chicken, they should all create this beautiful flavor in your mouth, along with the sauce that makes everything make sense. And that's what we're gonna do today, right? We have these three components, whether you are non-vegetarian, vegetarian, or vegan. We're gonna take all of these components and create an amazing dish that you can have as a non-vegetarian, that you can have as a vegan, and that you can have as a vegetarian. So that's what we're doing today, right? So I think I just went over just some of the just the main components of what we're using today. Some subcomponents that creates a lot of flavor. I'm gonna go over real quick. So we have the pantry, right? We have onion powder, we have chili powder, and one of the questions that that someone sent out to me over the past week is, can I use something other than chili powder? Because they had some concerns about spice. And my response is that chili powder is not spicy. I know it has the name of a pepper in the name, but it is not spicy. It creates a really rich, deep flavor in whatever you're seasoning, right? So that's why we're using chili powder today, to give it an extra depth of flavor in the seasoning, the dry seasoning, right? So again, onion powder, chili powder, right? We have parsley flakes that we're gonna use, and this is a part of the herbs that we're gonna use. We have garlic powder, which is so awesome. Like, this gives food so much flavor, but you have to know how to use it, okay? So here we go. We have some salt, and ideally you need, for this dish, I try not to use table salt. I use Himalayan salt, sea salt, or kosher salt. Of course, the amount of salt that you put in your food is up to you, right? So you can also not use salt in this dish. So I'm gonna use salt though, because it creates an additional taste that's amazing, right? Also, I have me some black pepper, right, with some peppercorns in here that I'm going to it's also a grinder, right, that I'm going to grind the peppercorns to create those pepper flakes that also creates flavor. All these things are going to be a part of the flavor profile for your entire dish, right? And we're going to use them throughout. We're going to use it in we're going to use all these flavors on the protein, on the vegetable, and on the starch, right? So any questions?
Yes. Okay, so first off, before we get into questions, if you were like me and having issues accessing the chat because you were clicking in from Facebook or Instagram, what I want you to do is close out of it and actually go directly to YouTube. So open up your YouTube app and just search in the search bar, make a dish with Rish. It should show up at the very top, live, click in, and that should allow you to access the live chat. So with that, Melissa asked, what color onion? I have yellow, purple, and white.
So they're you could use whatever. So I normally go with the red onion because I like the nutritional benefits of red onions. You should look that up. It's really good for you nutritionally. But the other onions are just as good. I said in the grocery list and our ingredients that you can either use red, yellow, or Vidalia, which are sweet onions. So you can use any of those. That's of your choice.
Yeah.
But I also like red onions because it adds a different color element to your dish. And we all eat with our eyes, so that is part of the presentation when you have different colors of vegetables.
All right.
Okay?
Perfect. The other question is Meg Sidora wanted to know, will we be using the full carton of chicken stock because she has 4 pieces of chicken and enough potatoes, etc. To she wants to basically see if she can make a double portion.
Yeah, so you can do that.
How much stock then?
So
For a
I'm gonna give
single-
you the like measurements that we're using, but you can double up on that. Okay.
How much stock should she gonna need?
All right. So let me go over the additional
Okay.
ingredients.
Not impressive, Rishone.
Yeah. So let me go over the additional ingredients because that was the plan. So let me go through that, and then I'll answer all additional questions after that. How about that?
Perfect.
Okay, so we went over the main ingredients and we are going to go over the additional ingredients. So I also have some, let's just skip right to the stock situation or the stock question, right? So I have some chicken culinary stock from Wegmans. Yep, from Wegmans, and in each, there's 32 fluid ounces in each box. So I'm going to use about 2.5 to 3 cups, or just 2 cups. I'm sorry, about 2 cups to create the sauce that we are using for the chicken. So this is, if you're making it for doubling up for the next day, you can use like 3 cups because all we're doing is creating a glaze, right? And the glaze is a really small portion of what this whole dish is about. So if I'm using 2 cups and you're trying to double up, go 3 cups, right? To create an additional amount of glaze. Okay? Does that make sense? Right? So the chicken stock, vegetable stock for the vegetarians, right? Vegetable stock right here that I got from Wegmans as well. And that as long as we are on the sauce, we have the stock. We're gonna use some citrus and also the juice of an orange to create the glaze that we're creating, right? And for those, this was a really a question that many people ask me about the alcohol that I'm choosing to use in the food, right? This is your choice. You don't have to use either of these. Again, this is a layer of flavor that I'm creating, and you can either use these or not. I'm using Malibu rum, like a really small portion of that, and I'm also using sherry cooking wine, right? Now, what the good thing about this is when you do cook with alcohol, alcohol boils faster than actual water. So you're actually removing most of the alcohol from these if you're worried about the alcohol content. Okay, so these are optional. You don't have to use them, but they do create an additional layer of flavor. So that's why I'm including these in my dishes, right? I don't drink either, so I use these for flavor, right? We are also using fat, which is we're using non-stick butter. If you are using salted butter, these are unsalted. You want to make sure you are conservative about your salt usage, right? Overall, right? If you're using salted things. Also, other fat is olive oil, just regular olive oil, not extra virgin, regular olive oil, right? Those are the additional ingredients. I also have some flavor ingredients that are herbs, right? I have some thyme, some fresh sprigs of thyme and fresh sprigs of rosemary, and they smell so good. I will smell these things all day. If you guys know me on a personal level, I'm really big about smells. So my sense of smell is really keen. That's why I have a natural gift for flavor. So I love smelling these things. Let me put them down before I keep smelling them. All right. I also have some fresh garlic, and of course the red onions, which was the question we answered earlier. Right. So I think that's it for everything. Let me add 2 more things. I have some white distilled vinegar that we're going to rinse our chicken with before we get started, and also a lemon, which I also put in the ingredient list. So we are going to use that not only to rinse the chicken, but also to add some flavor in your sauce. Right? So this is going to be used to rinse your chicken, like I'm saying. Like if you don't have distilled vinegar, you could just use lemon juice. We're just trying to give the chicken an initial rinse to get rid of all those juices it's been sitting in since you bought it or since it's been sitting in the shelf or in the packaging. Okay? So here we go. We're going to get started.
Do you want to check in first?
Yeah, let me see if there's any questions.
Okay, so first off, Peter slash... oh my God,
Rebecca, yeah.
Are super excited to make the food. Stephanie might be a little concerned. She only has 8 ounces of stock. How much of an issue is that?
She's good.
You good, girl. You good.
Is she just cooking for her?
If it's just for you, you good. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Happy birthday. This is hilarious. Elise goes, I'm using a butt ton of red wine and also drinking it. Cheers. You
Perfect.
do you. You do you,
Perfect.
girl.
Yeah.
And then Melissa's might start wearing some food scented essential oils just for you.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Okay, so I'll be checking the chat, and Rishone will ask me for questions to keep a good flow. Also, bear with me as we try to maneuver around the kitchen with this camera, so if it's a little jerky at some points, forget about it.
Yeah, no, don't forget about it, but give us some, be patient with us.
Thank you. And
This is the first time we're doing this.
Like this.
Yes, so be patient with us, and we're gonna do our best to make sure everything is a smooth experience.
Yes. All right,
So we're gonna get started, and the first thing that we're going to do is the first thing that we're gonna do is prep everything that we need, so that when we actually start the cooking process or the finishing process, everything is prepped and you don't have to worry about going back and forth to get onions or to get this or to prepping that. I mean, I do that on a regular basis because my knife skills are above average, so I can prep like onions or garlic like super quick in order to add it to a skillet in order to create that bottom flavor that we need for an amazing finishing sauce. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're going to prep those potatoes. So I want you to get your potatoes, the red potatoes, and you are going to open those bags, right? You can rip them because we're gonna use them all. And what you're going to do is put them in a bowl. And I'll open this bowl real quick. I'll open this bag real quick and put the potatoes in there, right? So I'll show you, here we go, potatoes in the bowl, right? And I'm going to give them a quick rinse because we are not peeling these, okay? We are going to rinse them and we're going to fill a pot with about 6 cups of water, and we're going to cook these for 20 minutes. And while these are cooking, we're gonna start prepping the other components so they're ready to go when we are going to apply heat, okay? So we have our potatoes. Let me turn this water on and get a nice rinse. All right. I'm using my hands the entire day today. So we have some safety things that we want to go over as far as handling chicken and handling the other stuff, right? We don't want any cross-contamination while you're cooking. So if we're touching chicken, that's all chicken. We have to wash our hands before we touch anything else. So that's a big rule. First rule, right? If you touch chicken or raw chicken, we are going to make sure we wash our hands before we touch anything else. Or if we're touching the chicken, we're just handling the chicken at that point, okay? So I'm giving these red potatoes a really good hand wash or hand rinse to get all the additional dirt off of them because they do grow in the ground, right? And we don't want any crunches from dirt while we're eating, right? No, we don't want that type of texture contrast, right? So we rinse those really well, as I'm doing right now, and I'm really like massaging those things. I'm not like being nonchalant with them. I'm really giving them a good rub, like my friend Melissa would do my shoulders. All right. By the way, Melissa Carrick is on, and she's an amazing, what is the word, Suze? I don't want to use the wrong massage therapist, because masseuse is a whole different thing. But yeah, so she's a doula / massage therapist, and she's the only woman that I would let touch me in that way. So we rinsed those potatoes. As you can see, they are thoroughly rinsed right now, right? They're clean. Everything is good, right? So those are rinsed. What we're going to do is put that aside, and we're going to get a medium pot, which I rinsed earlier, right? I have a medium pot right now. What I'm going to do is fill that with about 6 to 8 cups of water, right? And we're going to put our burner, the first time touching the stove. We're prepping this first because we are going to transform it at the end. So we need them to be cooked, and then we're going to sear them to make sure they have a nice crust on them. So they're nice and, I don't want to say juicy, but they're nice and, that word.
Tender?
Tender, yes. Yeah, I was going to use, moist. I was going to use that word. But crunchy and pleasing texture-wise on the outside, okay? So here we go. We have about 6 to 8 cups of water in this pot, right? Here we go. I'm going to put the burner.
Want to show how much water that is so people can see
Yes.
it?
So it's about let me get rid of some of it. It's about 3/4 the way up, right? 3/4 the way up. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put that on the stove right now. There we go. It's on the stove. And I'm going to turn the stove or the burner on high, because we want to get that to a boil very quickly, right? So we're going to turn that rear burner that I have on high, and that was our first part of the cooking process, right? As soon as it starts boiling, we're going to put those nice rinsed potatoes, red potatoes, in the pot so they can start cooking. They're going to take 20 minutes. It's going to take about 5 to 7 minutes for that water to completely start boiling, and then we're going to put this in there, okay?
Rishon, I have some news for you.
What's that?
I don't know if they can hear me. My news is that Melissa's retiring from massage.
No! No! My joints and muscles!
I was trying to tell you, I'm like, she's a doula, Rishon. She's a doula.
Just got sad. All right, so we'll just advertise her doula business, because she is doing her thing right now. Also, if you are in the market of having babies, she is available as a doula. She's one of the most awesome, she's one of my most awesome friends, who's really easy to talk to and has this sense of, she has this spa quality about her that makes you feel relaxed, yes. Right? And I'm so happy that she's started her business as a doula. She's been doing it for quite a while, but she's ramping it up right now and really putting so much energy into making her business her thing, yes. Right? So check her out, Melissa Carrick.
If you're in the business for babies.
Yeah, if you're in the business for babies, right? Leave a couple comments if you want to talk to her while we have some dead space, right? All right. So we just started cooking our pot, our medium pot, filled with about 6 to 8 cups of water. About 3/4 the way up is going to be at a boil in about, I'd say, 4 to 6 minutes, right? The potatoes are sitting right beside it, so we know that the potatoes go in the pot, yes. Right? So the next thing that we are going to do, which is super importante, right, is we are going to rinse our chicken. We're going to open the package of the chicken that has been sitting in all its juices, and we're going to give it a good rinse with cold water. Super important. We don't want to start the cooking process of the chicken, so we want to use cold water to rinse with white distilled vinegar or a lemon, right? Some lemon juice. So I'm going to use both. You can use either, okay? Or either, however you say that word, right? So that's what we're going to do. And here's my chicken. I have actually 3 pieces in here, right? Or I don't know how many is in there right now.
3.
So there might be 3 in there. My recipe calls for 2. So you're just going to follow everything that I do today, right? So if we need to cut back on some salt and pepper, then we do that to make sure it fits your tube. Okay? So, I've already sharpened my knives. Right now, they're extremely sharp, right? So, we're working with knives today, which are very dangerous, right? So don't do anything that I don't do, okay? So right now, everything that I do is, before we get started on that, Suze, I have some kitchen towels in the laundry room, if you can get that for me, right? So when we are prepping chicken, right? Or anything that we're doing as far as using a knife and a cutting board, what I normally do is I have my flexible cutting board here. Maybe you have a wooden cutting board or a marble cutting board or anything that you use to, like plastic that you use at home. What you want to do is get a kitchen rag, as I call it, and I place it on, or a paper towel if you don't have a rag. I place it on the counter or workspace that I'm going to use, and I put my cutting board on top of that towel so it doesn't move around or slide or do anything when you are operating a knife, right? That's the first thing that you want to make sure you do, right? And I'm going to use actually two cutting boards. So I'm going to get my other cutting board, which is somewhere down here, but yeah, we'll get it later. But Susie, you can look for it for me, right? So let's get started though.
Want me to move this over?
No, leave that or move it.
Turn it towards that way.
Yes, turn it towards that way.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So I'm right over here. Don't get lost. Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
While you go through this, when you're talking about rinsing, someone had a question, I think it was Meg, about if they have thin chicken breasts, or maybe it was Jules, if it's okay if they're thin. So talking about the difference.
Why are they thin? Who?
Who gave you the okay to buy thin chicken breasts, Jules? Why?
No, I'm kidding. Why are they thin? No, the reason, if they are thin, that means they slice them at the supermarket. So you had to, definitely you needed whole chicken breast, but we're still going to work with the thin chicken breasts that you have. It just takes a faster time to cook. And you may not need to do the sear and put it in the oven step. You're just going to do the sear portion of it if they're super thin. Okay? Right? So, with that, we're going to get started. I need another bowl too, Susie.
What kind of bowl?
So, that one right down there. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right? So, I have a bowl, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut the sides of the chicken container, right? And I'm cutting away from my body. So, there's no chance or probability that this will cut me, right? So I'm cutting away from my body, which is away, right? Away from my body, right? And there we go. The nice, juicy, smelly, slimy chicken is right there. No, I'm kidding, right? So the chicken is right there. Good. I'm going to take out each piece and I'm going to put it in the bowl, just like that. And again, there's 3 pieces in there. And look at all that nice, juicy smelliness right there. Looks so good, right? And this is called mise en place, right? Where we are throwing out our trash as we're creating it, so we don't have a lot of things going on in the kitchen, right? A lot of trash in the kitchen in your way, right? So you go from prepping to trash. And if you saw my video about cabbage, you know it's a habit, right? So, what's happening right now? We have some news, breaking news, right? We have the boiling water. Look at that. There's a lot of energy right now, right? So what I'm gonna do, it's boiling a lot. I want it to be a calm boil. So I'm gonna turn it down to a little bit close to medium high, right? And I'm now gonna turn my fan on about half to take some of that steam out of my kitchen, right? So I am going to put these beautiful red potatoes. They don't have a smell yet, but they look almost awesome, right?
Meg was asking about
Still gonna take the same amount of time.
Will it make them mushy?
No.
No?
20 minutes. This is all we're doing.
Reiterate my question because they can't hear me.
All right. So Megan just asked if we put the potatoes in before it boils or before the pan with water boils or after. Now it doesn't matter because it only starts cooking when the heat is applied.
Okay.
So it's still gonna take 20 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna put that in there. All right. And I'm gonna slightly open that pot so when it boils, it doesn't come over. Right? There we go. That's our first step. We are done with our first step. How easy was that, yo? I'm telling you. It was super easy, right? So I am going to wash this right now because I like to clean while I am cooking.
Whistle while you work.
Whistle while I work or clean while you work in the kitchen, right? So what I'm gonna do, I have 2 sinks right here too. So like I said, we are handling chicken, and because chicken can cause some cross-contamination, right? What we're going to do is we're gonna make sure that when we handle the chicken, we don't touch anything else, right? I did touch the chicken, right? That's why I washed the bowl. All right. Right? So again, we're going to switch this to cold water and make sure it turns cold, right? Then we are going to get our lemon. We are going to roll our lemon to release the juices. Release the juices. Use the palm of your hand. Nice roll, right? And then we are going to cut into our lemon. Get a nice slice of it, right? I'm putting this over here, right? And I'm going to squeeze the lemon, right? I would squeeze it in my hand to make sure I use my hand like a strainer to catch all the seeds that are coming out of the lemon, which we only got this small little one right here, so we're really good, right? We're gonna put that in our bag to dispose of all the garbage that we are creating, right? And we are going to get a little bit of distilled white vinegar, pour that in there. I do about, I would say, splash, a little less than 1/4 cup. And then I'm going to hit that with some really cold water. And I'm going to massage my chicken to get that slime and juice, all that, those juices that it was sitting in. I'm going to get all of that off my chicken. All right. And it smells amazing right now. It smells super clean. All right. This is more of a Caribbean thing because I don't see that much with
White people?
No, why would you say that?
Because it's true.
This is more of a Caribbean thing, right? So as I'm cleaning each of them, I'm cleaning all the slime, and we're gonna leave the extra fat. We're just getting all the slime off of there, right? I'm gonna do this twice, right? And I'm gonna clean this handle off right after I get done with doing this, right? So the second time, I'm just gonna use the distilled. Boom. Add a little bit, right? And if you saw the first time, there was like, the water was kind of cloudy, and now it's like super clean, as you can see. It's super clean right now. So your chicken, all the juices that were in there, all the potential bacteria that was forming, maybe, is all gone. And you're left with this beautiful, shiny, chicken breast. Right? So there we go. Right? And we're going to drain all the water out. Drain all the water out completely. Right? There we go. Drain all the water out completely. And we're just going to leave it there so the water continues to, like, the water that was absorbed by the chicken continues to come out of the chicken. And then we're going to remove it from the bowl and dry it to sear it, because dry components in a skillet creates a better crust, and it doesn't fight with the fat, which is the oil that creates splashes, which we are not trying to do today, right? So that's the safe thing. We're going to dry it in a little bit to create, actually, let's just do that right now, right? I'm going to wash this thing right here, because I just used it, right? Whatever came out, put it in the bag, right? And we're just gonna wash everything that we touch, right? So we can get started on our chicken, and then we can go back to it later as we jump to our other components, right? So let me wash my hands.
What I love, I don't know if you guys can hear me, what I love about this is that in normal cooking shows, like they don't show this stuff.
No.
This is a real life thing.
This is real life.
This is real.
This is live now, right? I'm going to put this over here under my secondary cutting board, right? There we go. Right, now my hands are ready to touch the chicken again, and then we're gonna wash them again. Just get it out the way, right? I'm going to get I'm gonna get a plate. As you can see, I'm gonna get a plate, and I'm going to lay some paper towel on this plate, right? And I'm gonna take each piece of chicken, right, and lay it on the paper towel to catch the moisture that's going to be released from the chicken, right? And if you guys don't know, here is a fact, right? So under the bottom of the chicken goes the chicken tenders that you buy from the supermarket, right? So this just came out from the bottom of the chicken, and this is what you make chicken strips from, or these are the main thing that makes chicken strips, right? So here, Susie's got to focus, right?
There we go.
Right? So Susie's like, yeah, no. All right, so there we go. We have our chicken sitting on that plate, and what I'm gonna do is get an additional paper towel and place it on the top, right there, and leave it for for the whole time that we are basically prepping everything else, right? And again, I'm gonna wash this bowl really quick. I'm a hand washer, you can tell, right? I love hand washing dishes.
Tell me you forget to use your dishwasher.
I actually have a dishwasher, but I don't really use it.
You forget it exists.
I forget it exists because I'm so accustomed to using my hands, so I don't use my dishwasher, right? So there we go. We have 2 bowls ready to be used again if needed, right? And again, I'm going to wash my hands, even though I washed the bowl, and give this handle a nice wash up right there, right?
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this down to see if I can get questions.
Okay.
Possibly.
All right, you can put it down because I'm done with
Over
the
here?
chicken. Yep.
Can I put it over there?
Yes, go ahead. All right, Susie's transitioning. We're gonna go to the other step of prepping the vegetables. Yeah. Right. So we're done with the chicken. That is our chicken prep for our non-vegetarians, right? Our chicken prep for non-vegetarians. Now I'm gonna go to the vegetarian portion of this, right? Vegetarian portion is the beautiful white mushrooms that I have right here. Again, I'm gonna just use my finger to open this package, right? If you are a vegetarian or vegan, this is where we're going next, right? I'm going to get, I'm gonna use the bowl that I use with the red potatoes, right? So I washed it and I have it again to use, right? And what I'm going to do is take a piece of paper towel. I'm gonna lightly damp it with some water, right? I'm gonna lightly damp it with some water, and then I'm going to use that to wipe the whole, I'm gonna wipe the excess dirt off of the white, not potatoes, but mushrooms. All right, I'm gonna do that really quickly. And right now, our red potatoes have been in the pot for about, I'd say 7 to 8 minutes or 10 minutes.
Where should the heat be on the potatoes right now?
Show it. Actually, oh wow, I was like thinking it's your phone, right? So it is right in between medium high and high.
Mm-hmm.
Right in between medium high and high.
Yeah. Okay. And my mom said it's better doing a cooking show the way you do it because TV shows leave out all the steps that you might have questions about.
True.
I don't know if they just heard me, but my mom's saying she likes this better than TV.
Oh.
Proper procedures, etc. And then you get halfway through and you get discouraged. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, ask your questions. I'll be checking it.
So
I think that's it.
I'm cleaning the excess dirt off the mushrooms to make sure when we cook them, we don't have any crunchy experience from the dirt.
Adonis and Kristen are on, and Adonis wants to know what types of pots are you using?
So I have some stainless steel, just regular stock pot, a half stock pot, and I have a skillet, a medium skillet, as you can see. I have a medium skillet. It's like my everything skillet that I use. Hold it up. This is my everything skillet. It has a really thick bottom to it. Hold on. Let me drain some of the water out. It has a really thick bottom to it, right? And it works really well. So this is my everyday skillet with the two handles, right? So I can handle and I can handle it. I can pick it up and temper it if I need to with both handles, right? What else?
That's it.
Okay. So those are the things. And another thing that I'm using today is a cookie sheet to oven roast our asparagus, right? This is also an old cookie sheet that I've used a million times to do so many different things, right?
Dennis wants to know what's
This, I think those are Fabaware. It's not anything crazy.
Tell them, don't tell me.
I think these are Wegmans, actually. These are Wegmans brand pots.
Right, like a specific, I know you said thick bottom, right?
Yeah.
What, any other specific element they should look for in a...
In a skillet?
It
depends on the pot you're using, right? So the pot, it all depends on the quality of the pot and the type of material the pot is made from. So there are pots that are made from stainless steel. There are pots that have Teflon or non-stick elements to them. There's pots that are made from copper. There's so many different types of pots, but what you want to do is buy just a in the middle pot set and just try out all the different types of pots. And also I also have a cast iron. I have cast iron grill and I have a cast iron skillet. So all those things are all those different types of pots have different usage. I can't go through all of them right now, but it does matter what type of pot you use to do things. Right? I can't really go through a full breakdown right now, but if you need me to answer that question on a deeper level, I'll send you a better answer after this live, right? Yeah. So, cleaning the mushrooms. Let me get that done.
I'll come up close for that now.
All right, good. Yeah, take your time, Susie. Take your time. No trippage, because we balance in the kitchen, right? See, I'm cleaning those. I'm cleaning the little specks of dirt that are on these mushrooms, right? And it doesn't have to be 100% clean, but you want to get most of it because you don't want no big chunks of dirt like that's in the container right there, right? So there we go. Woo. There we go. Nice and clean. We're just going through the prepping process. I forgot that
Can the chicken people be doing something right now?
No, let the chicken sit, because we're going ahead, and this is going to be really short to prep the mushrooms, right? So let the chicken sit, let it do what it's doing, because it has to release all that water that we just added to it, so we can make it completely dry when we sear it, right? So we're just using our time super wisely, right? So we just cleaned all the mushrooms. They're right there, right? So what we're gonna add to the mushrooms right away is we're gonna add some salt, right? So get your salt, right? If you're using kosher or sea salt, you're gonna use less than you actually I'm doing for Himalayan salt. So you wanna use about a tablespoon or if you have sea salt, use 2 teaspoons of sea salt, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Like if you have Himalayan salt, you can use like a tablespoon, close to a tablespoon. So I'm gonna go ahead and season it right there, right? Get good couple grinds on that Himalayan salt. Then I'm gonna use my pepper. Season that really well. This is about a teaspoon. This is gonna be about a teaspoon of ground pepper, right? I'm gonna go with my. I was gonna open that. I'm gonna go with my garlic powder, and I'm gonna use a little bit of that, not too much. About a teaspoon, right? And this is going to be also onion powder. I'm gonna use a teaspoon of that as well. And then I'm gonna go with my parsley flakes, and I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of that.
If someone doesn't have every single ingredient you just put in, should they be worried?
No. So
reiterate the question.
So again, so if you don't have all the ingredients that I talked about at the beginning, as I said in the beginning, it doesn't. It's not that much of a big deal. You're just going to be missing out on layers of flavor, all right? So if you have just salt and pepper, you can just use salt and pepper. There's just an element of using all these ingredients that adds to the complete flavor profile at the ending, right? So again, we just put some salt, some pepper, some onion powder, some garlic powder, and some parsley flakes in your mushrooms. The final thing that I'm going to put in there is chili powder, right? I'm going to put a teaspoon of chili powder, right? And this is new, so it's taking a while to come out. So I'm going to just loose the top and just add a teaspoon. There we go. Here we go, right? The final thing that I'm going to do to this is add some olive oil to bring all of that together. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon in here. There we go, tablespoon of olive oil. And then I'm going to use my hands and create and massage this thing. So all of my mushrooms get the same treatment, and no one is looking at the other one going, hey, how come I didn't get any of that? Okay, so they're all looking amazing right now, and they all have this color on them, which is, they look amazing, right? And I'm washing my hands, right? Additionally, what I'm going to do with the mushrooms is I'm going to add some thyme. I'm going to add some thyme, so I'm going to take like a sprig or 2 of thyme, and I'm going to hold the thyme and go against how it grows. Wait, let me right? So I'm holding the sprig of thyme here. Hold on. Right? What I'm going to do is go against how it grows and just put all of that. And if some twigs get in there, it's okay. So I'm going against how the leaves grow on the sprig of thyme, right? So when you're done, it should look like that. Good, right? And we're going to let that sit. I'm put a couple sprigs of thyme in there, just like that, right? I'm going to get a spoon.
All right, I'm going to check the chat.
All right, check the chat. Let me know what's happening, all right?
Okay.
So our potatoes should be getting close, and I'm additionally getting the thyme over the mushrooms by using a spoon. There we go, right? So that is all ready to go.
People are huge Wegmans fans, apparently.
Okay.
My mom wants to know, do you want to say why it's best not to wash the mushrooms off?
Because again, we're going to sear them, and we don't want them to release water.
Okay.
So we're not gonna. And when you add water, a lot of water to mushroom, it kind of absorbs it all. Yeah. So you won't get a good sear on them, and they will be kind of
mushy.
Yeah, not mushy, but they won't have the texture you want them to have.
She also said someone may not know why to use paper towel or a mushroom brush. Okay. So I think she knows, but why should someone use a paper towel or a mushroom brush?
Because paper towel, damping the paper towel doesn't introduce a lot of water to the mushroom. You're just using it to take the water off, to take the dirt off, and the mushroom brush is even better.
Okay.
Okay.
And super duper pressing question. Is there a benefit to having 2 different dish soaps? Jules wants to know.
2 different what?
Dish soaps.
No, this one's running low, so I just got another one.
Yes.
And this was the only one that was on the shelf at the store, so I just grabbed it. So
Yes.
just in case.
And Caitlin wants to know, how has the time gone by so fast?
Because that's how it is. It's almost 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So we're gonna get moving.
Yeah.
Right. So our mushrooms are there, ready to go. Right. And what we're gonna do is we're going to prep our asparagus. And I bought these because they were the only one available that looked super fresh. But normally, if you buy the bunch, what you're gonna do is cut the bottom off, which is super fibrous, right? To get rid of that part of the asparagus. But these are already slightly cut, but I am gonna make a slight cut on them because they have been sitting in a bag where I don't know what was in the bag, right? So with that, I'm going to open my asparagus. Open the bag of asparagus. Here we go. Boom. Right? I'm actually gonna open 2 of these because they're a little bit smaller and I want some throughout the week so I don't have to cook. So I'm gonna cook a little bit more than normal and save the rest for the rest of the week.
Be cooking right now?
If you should have about how many people are you cooking for? So 2. So you're gonna have about, I'd say about 12 spears, or if they're small, about 12. If not, if they're a little bit bigger than normal, about 8.
Or as much as you want.
8 to 10, yeah. So there we go. We are, we've got the asparagus right here. Good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut those already existing. Someone cut it for us already, but I'm gonna cut off what a little piece of that. So to get rid of whatever has been sitting on the outside in the bag, whatever that is, off of the asparagus, right? So I'm gonna take a bunch, like a bunch of them, like they come, right? And I'm gonna line them up really quick. There we go. Good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on my cutting board. I'm gonna move everything over, right? Move everything over, all these things, right? Move them out the way. And what you're gonna do is hold this away from you. You're gonna line them up with your knife or chef knife, right? And you're just gonna cut a nice little slice. And you do the same thing if you have, if they haven't been cut for you already. You just line them up and you cut it where the fibrous, the coloration of the asparagus is not green. So there's like a off brown color, like you want to get that off of the asparagus. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're doing that and we're going to put it on our cookie sheet, just like that. I'm going to do that to the other bunch too. All right, do that to the other bunch so we can get there we go. Good.
Okay.
We good?
Yeah.
All right, good. So I'm getting rid of my garbage again, just like I do on a regular basis. All right, I get rid of my garbage. Right? So everything is nice and clean. Your area is nice and clean, right? So if you look right now, what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna leave, this is the pre-prep, right? When we're ready to cook it, we're ready to cook this, we're gonna season it and add some olive oil and then just put it in the oven. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes depending on how big or how thick your asparagus is, right? And we're gonna put it in the oven the same time after we sear the chicken so they finish together, because after you sear the chicken, it takes about 15 minutes for it to cook internally, right? So what we're doing is searing on the outside to create color and flavor, and then we're gonna cook it in the oven or bake it in the oven to create this moist experience. I just licked my lips because I know it's gonna be delicious, right? This moist experience where we're bringing the chicken up to temperature, right? Right? So there we have our asparagus, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sear our chicken, and I'm getting close. We're gonna sear our chicken and also our mushrooms at the same time, right? Because they are our meat, and we're going to use the two big burners to do that, right? So we have our mushrooms are prepped, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna check our potatoes to make sure they are cooked because they've been in there for quite some time.
Should someone be preheating their oven?
Yeah, we're gonna start that in a little bit.
Say what are you, because they can't hear me. What are you gonna start?
We are going to preheat our oven very shortly, so you don't need to do that right now. Okay, so here we go. Right? So I am making sure these potatoes are fork tender, right? So I'm opening, and there should be a little give, but also tenderness. So they are perfect right now, right? You can turn this stove off. Turning it off, right? And I'm gonna get a colander, and drain the water from it. I'm like, you down there? Right? So I'm gonna get a colander real quick from down here, okay?
Yo, our production is on point.
Oh, thank you, Susie. Well, that's you, Susie.
I know. If I say something, you gotta make sure you reiterate it though.
Okay.
I didn't know what I'm talking
My bad. Here we go. So I got a colander real quick that I'm gonna drain the hot steaming water out of the potatoes
So be careful.
of the pot, right? So what I'm gonna do, you can get some mittens, or I'm gonna use some kitchen towels, right? To take this, I'm taking the cover of this off, right? And what I'm going to do is bring this pot over, which has like a nice tint of orange or red that's going on from the potatoes, and I'm just gonna pour it in the colander, right? And watch your hands because this could be really hot. Take your time to do it in like 3 steps. Go 1, hold it up because the steam from it will get your hands, right? So pour it, hold it back, pour it, hold it back until you get all the water out. Good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the cold water on. This is actually another really important tip really quick, is we want the potatoes where they are. You don't want them to continue to cook because even though they're not in the water, they're still hot and the heat is still cooking them. So what I did is I turned the cold water on, and I'm going to make sure I get all the potatoes to stop the cooking, right? So we're stopping the cooking process. So the potatoes stay where they are. They're going to be firm, but they're cooked. But they're going to be firmed and cooked, and they're not going to cook any further. Okay? There we go. Right?
Jules said out of habit she rinsed off her asparagus. Hope the water didn't ruin it.
Oh, no. We're going to do that too.
Tell them what you're going to do.
So all we did was chop the asparagus. So the steps are we rinse everything before we use it when we're cooking. So I don't just take it from the package and just put it in the oven or cook it. I rinse everything before using it. So if you rinse your asparagus, that's totally fine. Because again, it grows in the ground. A lot of people touch it before you actually get it home. And even though I got it from a package, I still rinse it. I don't ever trust it that way, right? So I am going to continue to stop the cooking. I'm going to put the potatoes in that pot it was cooking and cool it down with some cold water as we're prepping everything else, right? There we go. These are nice and done. They look beautiful. You want to give them a look, Susie? Look-see? Oh, no. All right, hold on. Susie's over here rotating stuff. So here, hold it. There we go.
One moment, guys. We have production.
Oh, we're coming.
They got a really good close-up of your face
Susie.
right now. It felt loose. I turned it the wrong way.
Here we go.
There we go.
Stop turning it.
I'm trying not to.
Stop turning it, Susie. All right, so there we go.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
All right, so there we go. Potatoes are prepped, right? Chicken is on its way. What we're gonna do right now is we're going to, like Jules did, we're going to rinse our potatoes.
You mean asparagus?
I mean, rinse our asparagus with cold water again, right? Just rinse it. I'm gonna rinse it right on the cookie sheet, right? For time purposes, and just drain it off. Nice little rinse, right? Here we go. Just give it a nice little rinse on the cookie sheet. Don't fill it up too much, right? Get your rinse on, and I'm just rotating these things in the water to get a nice little rinse, and then I drain it off into the sink, just like that.
Very nice.
All right, we're not gonna sear these, so it's okay if it's wet, okay? Right? So keep it right on it, Susie. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with most of the seasoning that I've used already, right? I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of garlic powder, right? And use about 2 teaspoons if you're cooking 8 asparagus, right? I'm gonna use a tablespoon of onion powder as well. Good. We're gonna get these things nice, and 2 teaspoons if you're using 8, right? So we're gonna get some black pepper, teaspoon of black pepper. We're gonna get some salt, teaspoon of salt here, and we're gonna get some parsley flakes onto our asparagus as well, right? And again, we're gonna finish that off with some olive oil, about a tablespoon of olive oil. You actually don't have to use olive oil, but it coats these asparagus so well, and it kind of holds all the seasoning and flavor to the asparagus. All right, here we go. So if you are watching your diet and you're trying to not to include a lot of fat in your diet, you don't have to use the olive oil, but it is going to taste different. Okay, there we go. So again, I seasoned all of these things, and then I gave them a nice little rub, just like I did to rinse them. I'm making sure everybody gets a little bit of love and seasoning.
They're like children.
Yes, they're all like children. Like, when you're not in front of me, I actually communicate with my food. So just so you guys know.
We're not here, Rishon.
I communicate with my food, right? So spare me some patience, right?
Wow.
Here we go. So all of these, they should look like this when you're done. Nice and seasoned all over and ready for the oven, right? So that's all done. Your asparagus is all prepped. Your potatoes are half done, right? They're half done and ready. I'm washing my hands because we are about to get started on the real cooking process right now. Okay. So what's gonna happen is we're going to start the searing process, and with that, I have my favorite skillet, which is a thicker bottom skillet, right? And we are going to get, turn that off for me. We're also gonna get, this is my wide skillet, and it is stainless steel. I'm gonna use this for, the mushrooms, to sear the mushrooms. The same time I am searing the chicken, okay? So, I'm like leaving things open. Like I think I'm rushing right now. I should stop rushing.
No, because they need time.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's check in. So my mom said some sources say trim asparagus by bending a stalk to see where it naturally breaks, and that's where you should cut for the most tender asparagus.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
And then Pizza wants to know.
You mean Rebecca?
Rebecca wants to know: do we add the chili powder to the asparagus?
No.
No.
I did not add it.
Say what you did not do.
Oh my god. All right. So I did not add chili powder to the asparagus. I only added it to only gonna add it to the mushrooms and the chicken to bring that deep flavor out in the searing process, right? So we don't add it to the asparagus because the asparagus is just going to be a component. It's a component, but we're not adding the deeper flavor to that. Okay. So.
Yes. And Kayla wants to know: are we supposed to chop the garlic?
We are gonna chop the garlic. That's next.
Okay. And Alyssa's excited.
All right, good. All right, we're gonna chop the garlic next, right? So all that is prepped, right? So you're gonna have to bring it over here, Susie.
All right.
We're gonna go next to. We're gonna get these garlic cloves. We're gonna use about 3 garlic cloves. I'm gonna take that off with my hands. Open that. Right, there's an outer layer to the garlic, and then we're gonna get to the inner. We're gonna use about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, as you can see. And put this in my throwaway bag right there. Right. So the way how I utilize, or I get this inside pearl of garlic out of the shell is I take the chef knife and I hold it parallel to the cutting board, and I use the palm of my finger, or the palm of my hand, not my finger, palm of my hand, and I hit down, right? And then I just peel off the edges, like really quick, right? That's the simplest way to do it, right? There we go. So we have 1 garlic there, that's done. I'm gonna do the same thing here, right? Just a nice little, put a little bit of pressure on that and just peel that nice pearl out of there, right? That nice clove, and do the same thing with all of them. And you wanna make sure you're hitting down and not in an angle, right?
So you don't cut yourself.
So you don't cut yourself. So you place it there, right? And then you peel the garlic, right? There we go, right? Now this next step, right? I'm gonna show you how it's done safely, right? So what you want to do is this thing, they call it the claw, right? The claw, all right? The claw. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold, I'm going to crush these garlics a little bit more. I'm going to crush them a little bit more, and that should be super annoying coming through. And how I crush them is the same way I take the outer layer off, right? So I do an additional crush, right, on all of them. So they're like really crushed right now. This is how I do it. And then I hold them all together with the claw, and I put the knife on the cutting board. Just make sure you have a kitchen towel under your cutting board so it doesn't move. And what I do is you don't even need to put your hand there. You can just go down. But what your hand does is hold it together as you're coming through, right, and cutting. And you're feeding it under the knife, right, as you go through, and you can do it in different directions. And I'm doing it as slow as I can so you guys can see it. And you gather it up again, or gather it up in here, wipe your knife off, get it on there, and then you just do it again. Right? Super quick, right? Same thing. You just keep doing it until it's as fine as you want it to be. Okay? Here we go. I want it to be super fine, right? So I'm gonna keep doing it for a few times, over and over again. Right? And that is your garlic for the whole process, and I'm cleaning off my hands as I'm doing this. So your garlic is chopped, and it's on your board, right? On your board and ready to go. So next thing is our onion. What I'm gonna do is put the onion, right now it moves all over the place, right? And that's bad for when you're prepping, right? So what you wanna do is you wanna cut off the top of the onion, or the bottom, whatever makes sense for you. Cut off the top. In this case, we're gonna cut off the top and the bottom. Just a nice little sliver, right? And then we're going to clean the outer layer of your onion, right? And what I do is I hold the bottom of it and I just make a slice on the opposite end of the onion, and then I just take off the top layer. just like that, right? And the onion is ready to go, right? There we go. I'm going to cut this in half, right? So one, it doesn't move, and I'm going to remove any slippery layer that's going to cause any type of issues, right? So here we go. For the mushroom dish, we want some thicker, chunkier.
You like them thick?
Yeah, I like them thicker, right? So we need some chunkier pieces of onions. So I'm just going to cut my onion like 2-inch, right? I'm going to cut my onions 2-inch pieces, and I'm going to put them to the side, right? That's for my, this is for my mushrooms, right? For this, I need them to be a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut towards and down, right? I'm just making some small cuts, same 2-inch size, but then I'm going to hold it together and press and bring it all the way through, right? So I'm pressing the onion, and we lost some, but that's okay, right? I press the onion and cut through this way. Good. So I hold the onion down and I cut through, and then I'm going to grip it again and cut down this way. Right? And the claw is still feeding it through. And if it separates, that's okay. You could just chop it right there. Right? I'm doing it super slow right now, and I'm about to start crying. Woo.
Oh boy.
Right? Some fresh onions, right? So this is for the chicken, we're going to use for the chicken, and then this is for our mushrooms, right? So onions are done. Our garlic is chopped, and I am crying, right? Just so you guys know, you make me emotional. All right, so, and I'm putting my hands by my face, which is even worse. All right, so with that's all done, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get our rosemary sprigs, and we're going to, again, go against how it grows, right? And put that on your chopping board, your cutting board, right? Get about 2 or 3 sprigs, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to chop that up too, because the rosemary is the leaves are a little bit bigger than the thyme. So we're going to chop up the rosemary the same way we did our garlic, right? We're just going to do the same thing. You feed it under the knife as it's coming through and get you some nice chopped pieces. All right, we ready, Suze?
Yeah, for what? Questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so, Jewel said, so you said the seeding is something I should not do for the thin chicken. Seeding? What did she mean by seeding? Heating? No.
Searing.
Searing, yeah, that's what she meant. You should
wait.
still sear the chicken, right?
Yeah, we're still gonna sear the chicken. We're not gonna bake it. That's the only difference that we are going to, we're doing for the chicken portion of it.
So for the chicken, you only need half an onion?
No, we need the same amount of onion. Everything else is still the same.
Okay.
Everything else is still the same.
Okay. So say whole onion? How much onion do they need?
All right. So for the chicken, you need half of an onion.
Okay. Then
all right. So you're using half. So what I just did is half of an onion is gonna go to the vegetarian portion of this or vegan portion of this, and the other half I chopped really small for the chicken portion of this. So I'm making 2 meals. So just so you guys know, make sure you're paying attention to when I say non-vegetarian versus vegetarian, or if I say for the chicken dish or the vegetarian dish, right? So we're using half an onion for the mushroom dish and half an onion for the chicken dish. Okay? Okay?
Yes.
All right. So we're ready. We're ready to go. So I'm going to turn this. You gotta.
Oh, come with ya?
Mm-hmm.
Come with ya.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn my stove or my burner to the front. I'm going to turn it a little bit past medium for both for both, right? So the mushrooms are going to go in this skillet right here. Good. And I think I turned on the wrong one, right? The mushroom is going to go into this skillet right here, and my chicken is going to be seared in this right here, this medium, right? So while those are, I have some water in here, right? I normally have some water to let me know when it's going to be ready, right? And the water will dissipate as soon as it starts to heat up, right? This one doesn't have any water, but it's going to be the same amount of time because I'm using gradual heat. I'm not turning it on high, right? It's a little past medium, so it's going to heat up very slowly, and then we're going to add oil to the pan, right? So before that happens, though, we have to get back to our chicken. So we already have everything prepped that we needed to be prepped, so now it's time to cook, right? So here we go. Let's get over here where the chicken is. And Susie has a camera in my cooking area.
Get over, Rishone.
Right, here we go. So most of this chicken is now, all the moisture is out, right? I'm going to throw this out and get a new piece of paper towel to dry. Make sure this chicken is completely dry, right? Make sure this chicken is completely dry, right? And you can see what it looks like when it's dry. I'm also going to remove the paper towel that's under it. So take that out. Here we go. Oops. Oh, we're just going to dry this plate and put that in there and get a new paper towel. So I just got a new paper towel that I'm putting the chicken on again just to make sure it's extremely dry. Okay? So this is how you get a really good sear on what's going on with the chicken, is that you dry both sides. Make sure both sides of the chicken is completely dry.
If you don't, what happens?
If you don't, you're going to get some splashback or some talk from your skillet, right? So my skillet is on right now. You want to be very aware of that. So we are talking right now while the skillet is on and heating up. So we're getting this super dry. We're going to season this really quick and then put it in the pan so you can start cooking. Okay? Mm-hmm. So here we go. Here we go. Good. Right? Chicken is there. Let me wash my hands really quick. It looks amazing, right? So these are ready. You can come back over here, Susie, for a little bit, right? I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of oil in the pan, 2 to 3 in each of them, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the skillet up and make sure the whole bottom of the pan gets some oil, right? Same thing with this. And mushrooms, it soaks up a lot of liquid oil, doesn't matter what it is, right? So that's still heating up, right? It's on medium, a little bit past medium, so it'll get as hot as you want it to get. I'm gonna bring this over here, right? What I'm gonna do is we don't need the mushrooms. We don't need a really hot pan for the mushrooms. So to get this started, I'm going to put the mushrooms in the pan. Okay? There we go. I'm going to put the mushrooms in the pan because you don't really need a really hot pan to get that started. Okay? So mushrooms are going to be searing in a little bit. That's okay that the pan's not as hot right now, because it will heat up. However, our chicken pan needs to be hot, right? So I'm going to add some black pepper to this chicken really quick. Black pepper. I'm going to add some salt. Black pepper, I added about, I would say like a teaspoon and a half. And this is going to be about a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of salt if you're doing like a double portion, right? I'm also going to add to this, some parsley flakes, some of that beautiful just a little touch of the rosemary, right, to this, right? And I'm going to add some chili powder, about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of chili powder, right? Turn your stove down if that pan is smoking, or remove the pan from the fire or from the burner, right? We'll remove it from the fire, or turn the pan off. Turn the pan off for right now.
For the chicken?
For the chicken, yes. As we're getting the seasoning, because I'm trying to show you guys and do this at the same time, so it's taking a bit longer. I'm going to take some additional olive oil, and I'm going to put it on the chicken. This is like just a touch of each to massage it into the chicken, right? I'm also going to add a couple sprigs or leaves of thyme, just a little bit, right? So we have here, and I'm going to rub this nicely into our chicken.
It's getting intimate.
Yes, it is intimate.
As I do a slow zoom.
Oh God, right? Make sure you massage that in. You can actually remove, the paper towel now to make sure all the additional moisture is gone. Right, and I'm gonna turn it over. I actually season everything all at once. I should have just did this without the paper towel because I have to wash my hands again before I touch everything.
Mushrooms look good.
Huh?
Mushrooms look good.
They do. They're gonna start working in a little bit.
What are?
The mushrooms. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, just a little less. It's a little less. We don't want a lot than what we put on the front side. Just a little touch of everything that you used before, right? And we're not using the garlic powder or onion powder because those burn very quickly. So we're just using the salt, the black pepper, and the chili powder on the chicken right now, along with the herbs. All right, there we go. Parsley flakes. And we're all set. That's all set. All right, we're going to a little bit of olive oil again and massage all of that in. Now, after we put this chicken into the pan, we are going to preheat our oven to 350. Okay? After we put this chicken in the pan. So look at that. This is how your chicken should look. Each of them. Let me wash my hands again. A lot of washing of hands. A lot of washing of hands. So, you're showing them the chicken? All right, that's how your chicken should look. So, it's going to go in this pan right now and create all that flavor that I was talking about in the beginning, right? So, let me clean that stove and all the seasoning that I just put on there. All right, so we have our mushrooms, and I'm kind of giving those a nice little shake. And you can see some searing elements are happening right now. Don't do this at home even though I'm touching the pan. So nice sear is happening right there. Susie, and you're going to need to back up because I'm going to use this pan right now.
Fix it?
Yeah.
All right. Go for it.
Back up with this too.
Oh, I thought you...
Yeah, because this is going to happen very quickly and very vigorously.
Hold on.
All right. So there we go. We have our pan, right? Nice in. It's smoking right now. That means it's really hot. What I'm going to do is put it face side down, chicken face side down. All right?
Do not plop it in?
Nope.
Nope, what?
You're not going to plop it in the pot. You're going to put it one side down at a time. Right? And I'm putting all three down in the pan. Get a nice position on that, and you're not going to touch it for the next like 5 to 7 minutes.
What are you doing with the chicken right
It's searing. This is searing. This is called searing. All right, so you're searing your mushrooms back here. As you can see, we're searing the mushrooms, and I'm going to preset my oven to 350 right now. So it's on 350. Right, and I'm going to get a baking pan ready for the chicken when it comes out. So I'm going to put it right here. Good. And the good thing about having a double handle skillet is that I can lift, rotate the oil wherever I want it to go, temper the pan just in case I'm cooking some type of seafood, right? Temper means taking the pan off of the heat and making sure you are controlling how much heat is going to the pan. Okay? So, there we go. Look at those mushrooms. They're starting to look beautiful. All right? There we go. We're actually gonna turn our pan up because we just turned it up to a little bit below high to control the heat because we just put chicken that was at room temperature, which is lower than the pan that was hot. So you got to get that pan back up to temperature, right? So we're going to control the heat because we don't really cook. The stove really cooks. All we do is control the heat, right? We just monitor the heat throughout the process, right? So we're bringing this pan back up to temperature. And as soon as it gets up to temperature, we're going to adjust the heat again to bring it down just a little bit, right? Really get in there and show them the mushrooms. Go ahead, you got some lag right now. So that is your mushrooms, and your chicken is getting, all right? Your chicken is searing. We're not touching it until we are ready to flip it, which is in about probably 2 more minutes. And then we'll flip it because it's getting this nice crust on the bottom. And you're also creating this flavor in the bottom of the pan from the searing that we're going to use for the glaze that we're making.
I want to check the fat.
Okay, go ahead. So, what?
I was going backwards. Okay.
So, we're getting ready to flip these pieces of chicken. You can use a fork. You can use a fork to flip, right? You're going to get to the thicker part of the chicken to flip it. You're going to stick the fork in it and flip it from there, or use a nice tong to get the flip. Okay? So, here we go. We're going to flip using the fork first. So all we're going to do is hold this, the thicker portion of it, pick it up, and look at that beautiful color that you have on the chicken breast. Right? So that's flipping with a fork, and then this is flipping with a tong. There you go. Same thing. And you have a beautiful sear on the chicken, right? And you have a beautiful sear going on back here. Beautiful sear going on back here with your mushrooms, still on medium, okay? We're gonna turn this pan down to about where it was before because it's back up to temperature.
Where was it before?
A little bit below medium high. A little bit below medium high.
So Adonis asked, they definitely can't hear me. Adonis asked, would you recommend that salt bay technique when seasoning?
Huh?
Would you recommend the salt bay technique when seasoning?
So the salt bay technique that they were using is more like a brine, which also helps to tenderize your meat right before cooking.
Okay.
Okay?
And Jules
Oh, yeah.
Why are you saying while you're
Because I have an addiction to paper towels.
Sorry, Jules.
Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to take my onions, my thick pieces of onions, and I'm going to add it to the... I'm going to add it to my mushroom. I'm balancing a couple things. You want to be back a little bit because it's starting to splash in the so you can't really set it. We're done using paper towels, Jules. All right. And the chicken has this beautiful color on it, all happening at the same time. All right. There's a reason why I'm also leaving out the, I'm leaving the garlic out for last because that burns pretty quickly, and we don't want our food to taste like burnt garlic. Okay. So continue to temper your pan so your sear comes out the way you want it to, right? So I'm like tilting this pan back and forth to make sure the oil and the heat is not too intense on the sides, right? Stir your mushrooms while they're going, right? They're almost ready. They have this beautiful color happening. They're almost cooked.
Can they stir it, or do they have to do the shaking?
You can do this. This is totally fine too.
With the mushrooms, not the chicken.
Yeah, with the mushrooms. Whoops. All right, so here we go, right? The chicken, what I'm going to do, it has that beautiful color on the other side as well. I'm going to put it on the side. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is put it on the side to get the sides a little bit of crust too. And that should happen really quickly because the pan is hot. All right. All right. For each one of them. And we are getting this chicken tender nice and cooked. All right. Turn this over. Put it on the other side.
So just, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, I just do 30 seconds on each side. Or I'm going to hold it and get the top portion. The top portion as well.
So every inch of the thing gets seared?
Yep. So I'm removing it from the stove because we don't want to burn the bottom of the pan because we don't want the food to be burnt, to taste burnt as well, right? So these mushrooms are cooking so beautifully right now, right? At this point in the mushrooms, right, I'm going to put the chicken in this pan, all three of them. And this is a perfect way to have chicken for the entire week. You can cook it this way and use it for salads. You can repurpose it to make any type of dish you want, right? It's not fully cooked yet, so I'm going to put it in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. And at the same time, since we already have this prepped, we're going to put this in as well. Asparagus.
Mushroom people can put those in?
Yep, mushroom people can put the mushroom people. Oh, that's funny.
You can put the asparagus.
The asparagus can go in. So right now, what I'm going to do to this is I'm going to take the onions and put them in this pan with a little bit of rosemary, right? And what I'm going to do is put the garlic into the mushrooms, right? and get a nice stir. Let me get back up just a little bit too. Right? Get a nice stir. Right? And it's forming that crust on the bottom of the pan. It's perfect right now. We're gonna let the garlic toast for a little bit. Leave that there. And we are going to get this onions. We're gonna use all the oil that we used before and not using any additional. And get a nice sear right there. So we're cooking the onions on medium right now. This is on medium. So we don't burn the bottom of the pan. Our mushrooms are going. Those are perfect. So the mushrooms has been on a little past medium this whole time. And this pan with the onions is on medium. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to deglaze the mushrooms with some whatever wine you have or rum. You're going to deglaze with that first. If you don't have either of these wines or rums, you're going to deglaze with your vegetable stock. Okay, here's where the flavoring starts. Okay, so the mushrooms are going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deglaze with sherry wine first. And that is called deglazing.
Just a splash. Ooh, it's getting steamy.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a touch of the rum in there, right? I'm going to do the same thing for this pan that had chicken in it, okay? So I deglaze first with the wine, and everything that was at the bottom of the pan is now in that liquid, as you can see, right? So we have a delicious thing happening right now because all that crust that was on the bottom of the pan is now in the liquid that we deglazed with, right? We're gonna let that go for a little bit and turn the pan up to about medium high so you can get most of that alcohol out of the liquids, right? Oh, I turned this off.
Should they turn it back on?
Yeah, it needs to be back on. It's on medium. On medium, yeah, for the chicken. Here we go. So.
Oh no, Jewel says she burned herself, but she's good.
What? How?
I don't know.
Okay.
They don't know what you're talking about when you say what, how.
Oh, okay.
They can't hear
What,
me.
how?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. We are going to deglaze with some, we're going to deglaze with some vegetable stock. And this is going to be about 2 cups. 2 cups of vegetable stock. So there you go. And you're going to turn this on high. You're going to turn it on high until it comes to a boil. Right? You're going to additionally add some garlic to this pan.
Garlic and anything else or no?
No, that's it for right now. Here we go. We are going to add half of an orange to your chicken, half of an orange to your mushroom pan, right? So again, you're holding your hands to get no seeds. Put half of an orange in there. Half of an orange. That's good. Throw that out. That smells amazing right now. And that your mushroom is all set. Mushrooms are all set. So we're going to focus on our chicken dish. Turn that up just a little bit. Turn it up to a little less than high right now to get this nice and working. So your mushroom pan is on high to reduce this liquid to half. Right? Reduce that liquid to half. Here we go. And we're going to do the same thing for this portion of the chicken, right? So we're toasting the garlic in the chicken portion of this so we can get the same thing happening here, what we did with the mushrooms, right? So there we go. I'm gonna get my chicken stock, right? I'm gonna deglaze with my wine first, my cooking wine. And I use about a 1/4 cup of the cooking wine and then like a touch or a teaspoon of the rum. And we're all done with the rum.
Like a baby splash.
Yep, like a teaspoon, right? You let that collect all that beautifulness on the bottom of the pan. So there we go. Let that cook off for a second. I'm like managing 3 things at once right now.
A lot of steam going on. I'm back up.
Yep. Back it up, back it up. All right. So I just introduced my pan, my cast iron pan. You could do this in a regular skillet too, but we're gonna use that to basically sear up our potatoes, which are next. So I'm adding 2 cups of chicken stock to my pan, and I'm turning that up to high to get that boil on. And what I'm going to do is add my orange, squeeze a half of an orange in that pan.
Why do you add citrus, Rishone?
Because it brightens all the flavors.
What does?
The citrus. Citrus brightens all the flavors. Okay. So here we go. We are going. Our mushrooms are going. They're almost done. This is coming up. Oh, that's so beautiful. Right? Our chicken and asparagus, we're going to give that a check. They're cooking. They're looking good. They're about 5 to 7 minutes away from being done.
Ask how people are feeling if they have questions.
How you guys feeling? Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? I know a lot is happening all at once. The last thing that we're going to do to these skillets is that we're going to add a tablespoon of butter to mellow out all the flavors. So it's a French technique. Okay, we're just going to mellow out all the flavors. Right now there's like probably bubbles all over the screen, Zeus. Because it was splashing with oil. Okay. So, this is going. Your sauce is going. What I'm going to do right now is so much is happening all at once. Right? So much is happening. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I wanted everything to finish on time. But if you have another skillet, a second skillet, you can start heating that up. Yes, this is for both dishes. This is for the potatoes. We're going to the potatoes next. So your mushrooms is just about done. All the liquid, when the liquid gets to this point, it's just about done. Okay? There's just a little bit of liquid in there. What you're gonna do, if you are a vegan, you don't need to use butter. Okay? You just let it go a little bit more to thicken it or evaporate some more of the liquid. Or if you are not vegan and you are vegetarian, you're going to use about a tablespoon of butter to create this, to give your tablespoon of butter to give this finish, to finish this. You can turn the pan off here, turn it off. And what you're gonna do is you just put the tablespoon of butter in and you just stir that in. And that evens out all the flavors and it creates this beautiful gloss on everything. So it's all done and you just put it right back on the stove and let that additional heat work through all of that. Okay?
Caitlin wants to know.
What?
Just
another skillet. You need another skillet. So you're gonna need yeah.
Same for the potatoes.
We need another pan for the another skillet for the potatoes that we're coming to next.
You just gotta reiterate
Okay. All right, so there we go. Sauce is cooking. We're gonna do the same thing that we did for the mushrooms for the pan with the chicken. Okay?
Should we have any garlic left over?
No.
No garlic left
No
over.
garlic left over. So we use half the garlic for the chicken pan and half the garlic for the mushroom pan. And your mushroom is all done.
Okay. Mushrooms are done.
Mushrooms are done.
Let me show you.
All right, mushrooms are done. Good?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. We're going to remove, we're just about we're going to remove our asparagus from the oven, right? Or give them a shake. Give them a shake like that. And we're going to remove them in just like 2 minutes, right? So there we go. So there we go. The glaze is almost done.
What time should the glaze be at right now?
It's on high. We're still on high. Yep. This pan is still on high, right? So the mushrooms are done. And this glaze is going to be done.
Should they be shaking it like that?
Yes, stirring it, shaking it, just to make sure it's not burning. It's shaking it and stirring it is also a form of tempering. So another tablespoon of butter. So this is down to like really half the liquid. Right, we're just gonna add butter right there. And that is a beautiful sauce slash glaze that we just created. There we go. Okay, sauce, we're gonna let that simmer. We are going to put the components over here. Okay. So here we go. We're finishing up. The sauce is looking amazing. The mushrooms are done. We only need to make the potatoes. So I'm going to put the sauce right over here. Good. That's the sauce. We're going to remove this. This is our asparagus. The chicken we can keep in there just for a little longer. Right? What we're going to do is we're going to start our potatoes. And what I have right now is my cast iron skillet here. Good. So this is a piece of paper towel I had from before, so I'm conserving paper towel. And I'm just wiping it. Right?
Why?
I'm just removing whatever was in the bottom of it. You can do that outside of the stove. Don't do it on the stove. I just did that. Don't do that. Okay? So, our potatoes. We're going to turn this down.
Turn the pan down?
Yeah, turn the pan down. Turn the pan down to about a little bit below medium. A little bit below medium, right? We have our potatoes right here. Show the potatoes. Potatoes are right there. What we're gonna do is get the potatoes and you're going to cut them in half. There you go, cut them in half, all of them. This is the last step to making this meal. So here we go. It's gonna happen really quick.
Caitlin said, oh, I didn't know if we were using any for potatoes. Should I add them to the sauce or leave it?
No.
For the garlic, she was saying no.
Oh, no, you don't add them to the sauce if it's after.
Okay, don't add garlic to the sauce?
No, not after you make the sauce.
Okay.
It's okay to not have it in the sauce.
Yeah, Adonis said he threw all of his garlic in the first pan.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Adonis.
Yeah. That's okay to Adonis. It's okay to put all the garlic in the first pan. That's totally fine.
And Caitlin wanted to know, I still have a lot of liquid. Should I wait
Yes, definitely wait.
till the liquid's
Yeah,
gone?
till the liquid's gone. Wait till the liquid is gone. So I have my potatoes that I sliced in half right here, right? And I'm gonna put this, if you move back just a little bit. All right, you're okay right there?
There we go, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna add some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons or 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil to your pan. Good. And we are going to remove the chicken from the oven now. Should be done. What I'm going to do is, to test to make sure it is done, I'm going to stick my thermometer in there. And when it gets to between 150 and 160 is when it's complete.
If they don't have a thermometer.
If you don't have the thermometer, this is how you know. Right now it's perfectly at 150, about 155, right? If there's still liquid, but some of it is starting to dry around the edges, that means your chicken is done. As you can see, because this is really small, all the liquid around the chicken has been dried. So this is actually overcooked right now because it's small. But for your chicken breast, when the edges are starting to dry, that means your chicken is done. Right now, my chicken is at 160. You can show the 160 on the...
Maybe.
Back up just a little bit.
No, it's not going to be.
Okay, so my thermometer is on 160. You trust me. Okay, so it's on 160. My pan is now heating up. What I'm going to do is add my potatoes to the pan, face down, just like this. What?
Face down.
Face down. Yep. Take your time. Take your time. Don't burn yourself. Take your time. Oh, Lord.
Go from edge to edge.
Yeah, so take your time, drop it in the pan, and just move it over. Drop it in the side, like this, on the side, and move it over to where you need it to. All right, we're going to just stop right there.
Pause.
Yeah. No, not stop, but here's where we are with the potatoes. We're just going to get a nice sear on them. What time is it?
It is 5:55.
Oh my God,
Dinner
it's
time.
like 2 hours. 4. No, it's 4. It's 1 hour. 5.
2 hours.
2 hours. Ugh. What's up? Okay. So here we go. We're searing the potatoes. And we're not touching them just like the chicken.
Stephanie says my kitchen smells real good.
Yes. Awesome. So Stephanie's making a birthday dinner right now. Right? So while these are searing face down, what you're going to do is you're going to season them from the back. So you're going to add some salt, about a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper, and here's where the garlic powder and garlic onions, the garlic powder and onion powder comes in. You're just going to season the top. You are actually going to turn the stove off there and season the top. You're going to be very kind with your garlic powder and onion powder, right? You turn the stove off and you're going to add some rosemary that you chopped. Rosemary, right? Just a little of that. And we're going to add some thyme. So you get the sprigs of thyme and you put it all in the pan.
What does it mean
You can be generous, as in put in as much as you want
Of what?
of the garlic powder or onion powder. So, there we go. So we have the herbs in there. We're gonna also add some parsley flakes. And while those are searing, right, we're gonna add no, you're good right there. We're gonna add a tablespoon of butter. Let's put it right in there. And we are all done. What we're gonna do is we're going to stir this thing up nice and slow. I'm gonna get a spatula. And then I'm going to lift these things. Whoop, one fell out. All right, we're gonna lift these things. And we have some nice golden marks on the potatoes. And we're just gonna shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Okay.
Right? And these potatoes, they have a small amount of crust on them and a lot of flavor, right?
Yes.
And you are done. The meal is completely done,
What?
right? So we're gonna do 2 platings, right? We're gonna do 2 platings. We have our chicken, we have our asparagus, we have our mushrooms. All right. And we are all done.
Wait, what's going on with that over there?
This is our sauce.
That's our sauce.
Yes, this is our glaze that we're gonna put on. We're gonna make a part of this dish. That's our finishing sauce. So the mushroom already has its sauce, and the the sauce is made separately.
Gotcha.
All right. So here we go. We have two different dishes.
Got some plates up?
Yep, we got some plates out. What we're going to do is first I'm going to get the chicken, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this middle piece of chicken right here. Good. And I'm going to put it on the plate. Good. And I'm going to cut it against, like at an angle, right? Remove the fork here.
Why do you put it in the
For presentation purposes. You can basically do this how you want to, right? But there we go. All the chicken is done. So if you wanted to circle that thing around, and look how juicy that middle is. I'll just take a middle piece and just show you. It's beautiful right now. So it's super beautiful, super juicy, right? We're gonna put that back, and your chicken is ready, right? I'm gonna also plate the mushrooms. I'm gonna plate the mushrooms, mushroom and onions, right? Put it right on the plate. It's beautiful.
Yes, it
Right.
looks so good.
That's the mushrooms, right? And we are going to take our asparagus and our potatoes, and you can turn your oven off because there's nothing in it. You're gonna take your asparagus, right? You bring your plate over, take your asparagus. Whoop. This is real-time plating, right? Take your asparagus, put it on the side, right? And then your potatoes can go right here. Maybe one's facing up, maybe one's facing down. All right,
Crazy day.
there we go. And that is your mushroom dish, or your vegan dish with the sauce, right? And we're gonna do the same thing for our chicken dish. We're gonna put a few of those in here. There we go. And we're gonna get our potatoes. Boom. There you go. Right? And we're going to add the sauce to it finally.
Chicken sauce.
Yep. Because we're not done. Right? So the sauce, what you're going to do is you're going to take some of this sauce, this beautiful sauce right here, and you're just going to lay it across your chicken. Just lay it across. That, right? Take most of the sauce and drip it on your chicken or on your potatoes or on
Your body.
your asparagus all the way through. Right? Maybe you drip a little on the plate to show messy, but it's okay. And that is your dinner for today.
Yes. Oh, that looks good.
All right?
Wow.
That is your chicken dish.
Yes.
All right?
Woo.
That's your chicken dish right there. And then this is your mushroom dish. There we go.
Yes.
All right, you can put it down now and we can talk. So there has to be a taste test of some sort.
Gotta be a taste test, of course.
Chicken's a mess.
I'm gonna put them down.
Mm-hmm. I'm right here. Hey. Hello.
Let me back up.
So, we are done,
Woo.
and it is time to taste.
That's right.
All right, so here we go. Susie,
Oh, it's me? I'm on camera? Oh
this
my
is this is the mushrooms, and this is our chicken.
God. Oh my gosh.
So,
I'm so excited.
so here we have our mushroom,
Can I go?
our mushroom dish. Susie's gonna try it.
The mushrooms?
Yep, try the
Is
mushroom.
This too hot for me?
No, it's good.
Okay, okay. Wow. Woo! Oh. I don't know if you guys can hear me like chopping in my mouth.
A lot of flavor.
Oh my god.
It's good, right?
Yes. Mmm.
I didn't taste it yet, so
Yeah,
let me
taste
taste
the
it.
mushroom.
All right, let me taste
Oh
it.
my god, you guys, start tasting your food. Let us know how it tastes. The flavor is like popping.
Oh, that's cooked
It is,
perfectly.
yeah, the texture
Oh
is
my god,
perfect.
it's so good.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Wait, I was about to get the onion.
No, I got the onion. You get another onion.
Okay.
It's okay. So that's the mushroom. Oh my god, those are good.
That's good.
All right, so now I'm gonna try the chicken. All right, I have the chicken in my hand. There we go.
Are we even in focus right now?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Stay right there. I'm gonna lighten you up a little bit.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's right. I want to try the chicken.
The chicken is just as good. It's really good, really flavored, moist in the middle, and it has a crust on the outside. Susie's trying the chicken.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
Yep, and then we have our potatoes.
Wow.
I'm gonna try my potato too.
Oh, that's lovely.
Mm.
Oh.
Potatoes are perfect.
Mmm.
Oh, so good.
Oh, this is good.
And here we go with our asparagus. You can eat all components separately, or you can eat them together. Mm. Crunchy. You can hear that crunch. And it's delicious. It has an amazing flavor.
Oh. I could get with this.
A nice nutty flavor, a nice garlicky flavor. And that is your meal for today, right? This is
Let's
what we
check.
just made.
All right, so. Oh no. Jules said my fire alarm is going off. I'm such a mess.
Oh no! Jules.
Yeah, definitely go back. This will be up for sure, so you can go back and watch. Stephanie said, "Get in my belly." Melissa said, "Thank you, friends. Love you both. Thank you for joining us."
Yes. So we're all done.
I will post pics and tag you all over the world. LOL.
Yes,
Definitely
please do that.
Tag, if you can, tag Musicality Central. Also, Plated Soul is Rishon's handle on Instagram for his cooking. And Logan is happy to see you both. Hey, Logan.
Hi, Logan.
How's it going, bro?
Pardon me while I get the fruits of my labor.
Elise said so good. Yes.
Yes.
Did you guys learn anything today? Like, what did you guys have a takeaway that you're like, oh, I didn't know this, whether it was a big thing or a small tip?
Hold on. Let me turn everything off.
Yeah, turn everything off because it's so loud. Stephanie said, thank you for doing this, Rishone and Susie. Seriously, thank you guys for joining us.
This was our first time, and maybe I wasn't like fully communicative of what was going on.
You did a good job.
Just a learning process. It's first time doing it, so everything turned out really beautiful.
Melissa says, potatoes are so yummy. These are next level mushrooms. Bam! Thank you. Yummy. Alyssa says this tastes awesome. Jake came down and he's picking all of the things he likes. Even if he doesn't normally like, let's say, the mushrooms or something, have him taste it. Jake, like, taste the mushrooms. You might like it because it might be cooked and seasoned differently than what you're used to. Joelle said, I feel like I actually learned some things from this, so thank you guys so much. Yes, what did you learn? Meg Sador said, obsessed with the potatoes. I need to plate this dish still, though. Thank you, this was great. And Joelle said, I've never created a broth. Was that the word for it? So the sauce.
No, you just created a sauce.
Yeah.
It's the broth, the orange juice, everything liquid-wise, and finishing with not finishing with the butter is like a French technique to round out all the flavors and to give it an additional level of flavor. So
these shrooms are everything.
The mushrooms are amazing. Yes.
So something Elise learned was washing the chicken with lemon and vinegar. What? She never knew that. Glazing was new for me, and holy Hannah, this was a lot of work. Oh no.
Ooh.
So not Hannah. Caitlin said that it was a lot of work.
Yep.
So it's definitely something. I'll say that being someone who doesn't cook and being very fortunate enough to have Rishone cooking for me, especially right now in this time, it is a lot of work. However, and not to say he doesn't do this with every single meal. Like last night, we were in a rush that we had a frozen pizza, and he just threw some meat, some ground beef on top of it.
I cooked before, leftovers.
So this doesn't necessarily happen every day, but one thing I will say I think is awesome about this is that if you want to really elevate your dish for whatever, if there's an occasion or you're just like, hey, it's Tuesday, I want a good meal, like these are some things you can do. So don't feel like you need to do it every single time. But we're hoping that there's some tips in here that Rishone shared that you can just use in your cooking, especially right now with this experience where you might not be eating out as much as you used to.
And also it was a lot because I was moving at the pace to keep you guys engaged as well. And I was also balancing two other dishes while I was making this. Like if I was doing this for just one style of dish or one dish, it would go a little bit faster and a little bit simpler. I just had so many steps because there's chicken, there's vegan, there's vegetarian, everything. This dish for me would take me a half an hour to create.
Right, and that being said, especially if some of this stuff was new for you, like if you're not used to chopping your garlic like that, or just any of the things, as with anything we do, it's always slower the first time we do it because we're trying to figure it out, making sure we don't cut ourselves. But what I think is super dope, Alyssa said, he's referring to Jacob, I'm tasting different things in these mushrooms. How did you do that? Jacob said
so
that.
So it's layers of flavors. So that's exactly what I mean in the beginning of creating step-by-step flavoring, a flavoring profile that actually dances on your tongue.
Ooh,
yeah, it dances on your tongue when you do the methods that I just did. Because you create a flavor, an initial seasoning of the mushrooms, and then you seared it to lock it in, and then you deglaze with some liquid, with some stock, or liquor or some type of wine, and you create another layer of flavor, and then you finish it with butter to add another layer of flavor. So there's so many layers of flavor that I created today for each dish that you can use to create moving forward.
Yeah.
Right? It is simple. It seems like a lot of steps, but once you get used to it, it becomes super. It becomes easier as time goes on. Right? So that was our cook along with me today, and I hope that you really learned something. I know. I know Jules. I want to hear how Jules is doing because she had some issues with overheating, and I think she said she slightly burnt herself. So I wanted to make sure she's okay too. So Jules, if you're still on, let me know that you're okay. But what we created today is a chicken dish and a mushroom dish that is incredibly delicious, and I'm glad that you guys were able to join me and start from the beginning to the end of this dish. And I'm actually going to plate both of them again and do a photo that I can post on my Instagram, Facebook, and also on Musicality Central. So
Yes.
thank you guys so much.
Wait, if you guys know us, you know.
And also plate your dish, take a photo of it, and either post it, tag Musicality Central and Plated Soul. Yep. And let us know how you did.
Wait,
okay?
Go over. You guys know in pure Musicality Central fashion, we gotta show that this happened. You know what I mean? There we go.
All right.
You gotta wipe your lens first if you're gonna do that. Ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
So. Why we look so dark?
Because the light's coming from behind us. It's okay, guys. We just wanted to commemorate.
All right.
Beautiful. We love you guys. Thank you so much for cooking with us. Did you want to check? Let me check last comments.
Yeah, last comment.
Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it.
Do you think you would ever do this again?
Oh, I would definitely do this again. Next time, it's only going to be one specific dish.
Yes.
So I wanted to cater to as many many people with different diets as possible, so that they know that they can cook in a delicious fashion. It doesn't matter what level or what diet you are. You could be pescatarian, vegetarian, vegan, or non-vegetarian, right? Or non-vegan. You can make delicious food just the way that you do normally, okay?
Logan wanted to say thank you because he said the chicken is so good.
Oh! See, that is like the ultimate test. When a kid actually eats your food, because like a lot of people don't know this. I was a very picky eater when I was younger, and the only reason I learned how to cook is because I wanted to flavor things the way I wanted to flavor things. So if I eat it, I know it's like everybody's gonna like it. Okay, does that make sense? So yeah, I'm very that makes me smile that Logan loves the chicken.
Yo, Stephanie Ferry, sweet niblets, that's good. And then it makes an amazing dish. Thanks again. Thank you guys so much for joining us for our first time with this cook along. We really appreciate you guys being here, beginning to end. And again, if you need to go back, you can obviously rewatch this. If you have to make the dish again or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So again, we are always looking to do things that's going to bring the community together, and this is one idea that Susie and I been pushing back and forth on doing something fun, but also doing something constructive that's gonna leave a lasting memory that we spent these 2 hours together.
You know what would be fun?
What?
I'm saying this off the top of my head, so I don't really know what I'm saying yet. But if we did like a follow along, like everyone learn how to like make ice cream from scratch. Like maybe not make ice cream, but just like activities, depending on how long we're in this quarantine.
The next one Susie is gonna do.
No! No, I don't know. Like learning how to like quilt from scratch. No, not quilt.
No.
I don't know. Just a different activity that'd be fun to like.
Or making banana bread. We might make banana bread together.
Dessert. That's a good idea though. Because what you gonna do with that dessert?
We gonna eat it.
Do I dig a deep that bit of it?
So maybe the next time we might make banana bread. We might make a banana.
You can't forget the chocolate chips though.
Okay, no, we can't forget the chocolate chips.
Yes.
All right, so that is our dish for today.
We love you guys.
We made this awesome mushroom dish, and we also made a awesome chicken dish with components, some seared potatoes, and some flavored garlicky asparagus.
Yes.
All together. So thank you guys for joining us, and this was my Make a Dish with Rish, my first one, and I think it went pretty good. The food tastes amazing to me.
Yes,
and
it's so good.
Well,
oh my
and
God.
you guys are tasting at home, so you know what you're seeing when I cook and I put up a photo. There's a lot of layers of flavors
it's all love
that goes into it, and this is I've been cooking ever since I was like 7.5, 8 years old. So I'm about to be 38.
Wow.
So I've been cooking for about a little bit
You're
over 30 years.
experienced.
So this is I'm happy that I could share this with you guys because it is a labor of love for me, and this is sort of my love language as well. It's not sort of, it is. And this is how I say I love you. So if we're spending this time together and we're doing this together, that means I love you.
We're like the vegetables
And
from the promo
and a
stuff.
little piece of Rishone is on your plate right now. That's why it's called Plated Soul.
Oh.
So, just in case you were wondering where that came from,
That's
how we bring everything together.
Yes.
So thank you guys for joining us for this late Sunday evening dinner. And I hope you got so much out of this. And I hope that this brought your family together, at least for after this video, to actually try this food that we made. And we'll do this again sometime soon.
Yes.
Once this quarantine keeps us in our home.
Yes,
so,
that's right.
So, peace out. Thank you guys
Love
for
you
coming
guys.
through and making this dish with us. And again, make sure you tag Musicality Central and plated_soul when you put your dish up. Okay? So, love you guys. Peace out. Love you. Right?